welcome to another episode with the gang, Football Weekly.
Sid, Sid looks so funny, dude.
Yeah, he's so funny because obviously he
My
just came
hair
up.
is all poofy.
Marco was
My
like that. I
hair
think
is all poofy.
you're just like this.
This
No, he
is what
just came
happens
up.
when I don't gel it down.
No, it's cool.
So welcome everyone. Welcome to the Kunar call. And the first question I want to ask you guys is: I hope you're following the World Cup qualifiers because today is all the matches.
Yeah,
And who do you think
not
will
following it.
qualify from the Portugal Italy group? So basically, Portugal and Italy are going to face each other in the final spot.
Hmm.
Who do you think will qualify? Portugal or Italy? Italy. Sid, you can start with that.
I personally feel Italy. They are a much well-rounded team. They're coming off the back of a European Championship. I don't even know how they are in this situation. But they should have qualified much earlier. That
Yeah,
being said, Portugal has not been that great in recent years. The last time, even their Euro campaign was full of fortune. I won't say that they didn't deserve it. That would be the very wrong thing to say. But yeah, they were very fortunate because of the new rule that was introduced where a third place team could go through. Without that, they would have been out in the group stages.
yeah,
So I don't think they have been as great as they were. I think the last time they were as threatening a team going into a tournament was in 2008. Ever since, they've just been on a steady decline. So yeah, they have great players, great individuals all around. They have great players in all the positions. But then that's the same thing with Belgium, right? I mean, that doesn't mean that they are a great team or that they will play as a great team. So I think Italy should go through. But then again, international qualifiers, anything can happen. It's all about desire. So you don't know who's going to turn up, who's not going to turn up. I'm going to back Italy, but let's see.
Toby.
Um, Sid's spot on. I think Italy. I think if we go deep into context, I personally think that Italy all round have a phenomenal team. They're very well balanced, and don't forget they've got a very good manager, one of the most tactical geniuses I've seen in world football with Mancini. I'm not stating the fact that Portugal. I keep forgetting his name. What's Portugal's head coach?
Fernando Santos.
Fernando Santos. Yeah, decent record. I think the Euro 2016 final was just like a fairy tale. To be honest, I
Mm.
didn't. I don't. I personally thought that Portugal didn't play as well as we thought that final, but that's football. Anything can happen. But ever since then, I don't. I wasn't too convinced with Portugal, especially defensively. If you look at the defense, most of the defenders are aging. Of course, you can. Ruben Diaz is. You can keep him aside, but apart from that, they've got Pepe. They've got the likes of
Bruno.
Jose Fonte, who are like
Yeah,
about 35 right now. So I'm not saying the fact that they're not good defenders, but they're not as energetic or act how good
Mm.
they were prior. They're not in their prime. The only defender I can talk about who's playing like he's fucking 28 is Thiago Silva. But apart from that, I personally would back Italy. I would be absolutely shocked, and I would criticize the living fuck out of Italy if they don't qualify, just because of Portugal's defensive problems they have. But attacking wise, I think they've got good depth. If you look at
Mm.
their squad with Shota, with Cristiano, with Bruno, with who else?
Joao Felix,
Matinho,
Honda Silva.
Neves, Silva as well. Yeah, Andre Silva.
Bernardo Silva is fit.
Portuguese.
yeah.
He's fit. He's fit. He's fit.
Mm.
He's gonna play. So I think it's gonna be Italy who are gonna go through. But internationally, as Sid said, you never know.
Shahidpal?
Portugal. Uh, they're going to outscore Italy because even though Italy have won the Euros and all that stuff, I mean, they have not had a convincing attack. Their strikers, apart from like Immobile, don't really score goals. They not on the international stage. On the club stage, they score many goals, but like internationally, they kind of flop.
Yeah,
And Mancini himself admitted that he has a striker problem, and then he recalled Mario Balotelli. But I think they will qualify. Portugal will qualify because they have a better attack. Simply because they can outscore any opponent, and you don't know what's going to happen with in these matches. And
No,
the
No,
that's a
and
good,
inspiration of Cristiano
that's a good point
Ronaldo
because
himself.
Immobile internationally doesn't have a very clean record as a striker. Most of their attacks, most of their goals, most of their GA has been coming from the wingers, especially with Insigne, who's
and
been
Chiesa.
phenomenal for
They
them,
are
and
Chiesa, man.
Federico Chiesa, who
Mm.
we cannot write off. So
Chiesa
for me,
has been
Yes, injured.
their
Yes,
club and
star.
injured.
country, this guy
He's
has
injured.
proven himself to be the most consistent,
Yes,
one of the most
injured. Yeah.
consistent players I've seen in Italy. So I think it's a problem as a striker for Italy. I think they need to sort that out. It could be tactical. It could be, um, I don't know, maybe Immobile. I don't know, probably just not showing up in the international squad. But what he's doing for the club,
Mm.
quite phenomenal for Lazio.
Yeah, yeah,
And
No,
he's
they've got
Immobile
incredible
is
at
one of the best out there. I mean, I remember last year when, and before all the Haaland talk and everything, when we didn't know who was coming, and all these rumors were going on, and people asking who would you like, Immobile. Everyone had Immobile as name on their lips.
goal
So
machine. You get
yeah,
goals
but
from anywhere from the spot.
but
That's one of the reasons I
I,
really
I
admire
think
his.
why this tie is such a tricky one is because Italy is so good in defense. The reason why Italy win, despite the fact that they don't score so many goals, is that they have such a tight defense that they don't really give you that many chances,
they have a
but
tight
they're not really
defense, but
parking the
it's
bus.
aging as well.
Sorry?
They have a tight defense, but they're aging. They have an aging defense as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Italy has always had aging defenders. So they've never really had an issue with that because the way their system works is that it all complements each other. They don't necessarily park the bus, but all the players know exactly what they're doing. They don't expend a lot of energy. Like the kind of defending that you see in the Premier League, the kind of why Thiago Silva gets so much appreciation for defending like that at his age is because it's not easy. The kind of defending which Virgil van Dijk does, the kind of defending which Ruben Diaz does, these kind of defendings, you expend a lot of energy. You press a lot, you get the ball a lot, you spray the ball here and there. So it's not really that easy. But the Italian system is so consistent with uh, technicality that they don't really expend energy. So their age really doesn't make that much of a difference. In fact, their experience is a bonus for them.
It is to some extent, but again,
Because you also have
Chiellini
to
and
remember that Portugal
they have
doesn't
with
have the kind of fast-paced attack that would trouble their age.
You need to realize that even Portugal can be very lackluster at times, especially when it comes to defensive transitions. If you look at teams who have like a high flowing, quick, pacey wingers, they struggle. And that's what Italy have with Chiesa and Insigne, because these guys, once they get the ball, they're gone. Plus, they're small. That gives them some sort of a strength, because for small people, it's easy for them to like get the ball, go through past defenders, and then do
Mm.
something from it. The only concern that I have with Italy right now is they've got a very good depth, but I don't think that depth is proven enough. Not enough to my person from what I've seen. I'm stating from what I've seen from the Euros because that's where I focus tactically and that's where I like paid attention to how Italy play. Because the system that Mancini puts out in games is absolutely phenomenal for the players they've got. And as Sid just said, I'm just
Oh
gonna
yeah,
quote.
I agree with that. I just think that it is like it's a high pressure tie and it's a one-off game against a formidable attack
Yeah,
in Portugal.
yeah,
So
and listen, Portugal have a lot of experience in the stage. Let's not write that off. Most of their players have been in these situations. They can pull something off. But I think for me, it's my opinion. I think it's going to take Italy to really fuck up that game and for Portugal to go through. Because I personally can't see Portugal go through easily. I'm not saying it can't happen. I think it can. But as I said, the main problem that I see with Italy is again what they're going to do in transitions and all that because it has to be said and the depth.
Yeah, which I
yeah,
think with Ronaldo being in the squad, anything can happen because the guy
Yeah.
doesn't score for 90 minutes and then he scores 2 goals in the next 2 3 minutes and he wins the game. So Portugal have a very good team. It depends on the manager what kind of formation he plays. Many times he doesn't play Bruno Fernandes and it works, and sometimes he needs Bruno and Bruno also helps. So it's going to be interesting. I think Ronaldo not being in the World Cup it's a big disgrace if he doesn't if he's not able to come there. First of all, Portugal should not be even in this position because they scored a goal against a team. He made it 3-2. The ball went over the line, but guess what? They didn't know why, because there was no VAR in that particular game. I cannot understand how there's no fucking VAR in a World Cup qualifier
No,
match.
I didn't hear. I didn't know about this.
This happened like
Wait, what happened?
basically what happened was Portugal was playing a team. I'll actually name you the team once again. So Portugal was playing a team. Let me just check. The One second. Let me just check it. Check it. Portugal.
Anyways, no, I don't think it matters. Yeah, what happened in the game?
So basically, Portugal, what happened was the match was going 2-2. Okay. And the last minute, Ronaldo scores the goal. The ball goes over the line. The defender clears it. The referee doesn't give it a goal. You know
I
why?
remember
Because
this
there's
was
no VAR.
last year,
Exactly.
2021. Yeah, I
Exactly.
think
There was no VAR. There was no VAR in the game, and the game finished 2-2. If he had won those two, if he had got those 2 points, they would have qualified. That's how pissed
That's
off I
shocking.
am. I'm
That
so
is
pissed off that in a World Cup qualifier, whichever team you're playing, even if you're playing UAE, you need to have the facilities. You need to have a VAR. You need to have the referee, because one
And
small thing can happen.
this is in the group stages, right? This is in the group game of the World Cup. So for the
It's the
European team, it's
Ireland
under
game.
UEFA. So I don't understand why they don't have the facilities for VAR. Dude. Like, if it was like an Asian team playing it and the World Cup qualifiers, I'd understand that. But this is
Yeah.
UEFA who they're under. So questions to be asked, I
Yeah,
guess. I
the
don't know.
Ireland game.
No, it's not the Ireland game. I'll tell you. I think they
No,
played
it
Serbia.
doesn't matter. Honestly speaking, it doesn't really matter who they are playing. It's a World Cup qualifier. You can't just say, "Oh, this is a small game." It's first
It
of all, it's
matters.
insulting.
It matters.
Yeah, and it's also massively insulting to the other team to say that this is a small team, so they don't have VAR. That's like
Yeah.
it's FIFA's responsibility to install it. It's not Serbia's responsibility to install it.
And you know what, Ronaldo, what he did was he didn't even shake anyone's hand. He just threw the captain's arm and just walked
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Oh, that is why that whole shit happened. Okay,
It was
okay.
Serbia.
Everyone,
It was against Serbia.
yeah. And I love how all of a sudden the captain's armband became so sacred. Like people are like, "Oh, he has no respect." He threw the
No,
guy. It's a
but
captain's
bro,
armband. It's a captain's armband.
why won't he be pissed off? He scored a goal. He's to make sure that his country, and you know what, playing for your country is more important than playing for your club. And these players take it very seriously, especially like a player like Ronaldo, who wants to do something for the country, and then you do this shit like there's no
And
VAR.
bro, let's be honest. Let's be honest. These players, no matter who they are, all right, regardless of whether it's Ronaldo, whether it's Messi, whether it's anyone else for that matter, they have a very short career span, right? It's not like
Yeah.
our job. Like we work till the age of 40, 50, 60, depending on what careers we are in. They work till the age of 35, 36, and then they're done. So this could possibly be his last World Cup, regardless of him claiming that he will try to play in the next World Cup. All that aside, so you miss one World Cup. Like I remember Theo Walcott was left out of a World Cup squad, I think in 2010, I
Six.
think.
Oh, 2010, yeah, 10,
No,
2010.
60 was there because there was a lot of hype around him being one of the youngest players picked. But he was left out, and he was devastated. He was devastated for it because he had a good season, and then he was still left out because there was just no space for him. And these players get devastated over it because you wait 4 years, you don't know what's going to happen. This is your right now. You're good enough to be picked. What if in 4 years you're not? So it's completely natural for someone to be pissed off to throw a captain's armband. It's a captain's armband. It's not a flag, bro.
Yeah, and then yeah, man, if Ronaldo doesn't come for the Qatar World Cup, I'll be disappointed because he should be there. He should be this World Cup. And actually I have to say that I actually tried for the World Cup tickets. Bro, the prices are so cheap, man. 2,000
Right now,
dirhams.
No, right now it is. Right now it is. Oh,
Go
once
check
you
it
got
out. You just wait for
months.
3 hours in line. You can buy for the
two
final ticket is
thousand is cheap.
Whoa, World
But
Cup final.
that doesn't include like your stay and stuff, right? It's just the
Yeah,
ticket.
yeah, it doesn't. It's just a ticket.
But there's a ticket for $750 also. I checked that in the final.
Because
That's not bad,
because
bro.
I remember getting the tickets for the Club World Cup, and they were like the actual tickets rates for 50, 100, 150, and 200, right? So I was like, all right, I'll try the 200 dirham tickets. And then when I selected that section, the ticket prices were like at 2,200 when you actually go to buy it
Exactly.
because everyone's bought it and they're scalping it. And I got the $50 ticket for I think 350 or $450.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
it's like, yeah, it's just mad.
So yeah, let's. That's gonna happen. Plenty of the matches are gonna happen. Like Switzerland is gonna play Sweden most probably in the final, and that's one thing. Like Sweden not being there, and it's a really weird scenario because if it's Scotland versus Ukraine, I think Scotland will come because Ukraine will come maybe because of what's going on in the country. They have postponed the match. Wales versus
Russia,
Austria.
Poland's postponed as well.
Yeah, no, Russia, Poland. They removed Russia, bro. Poland never
Oh
made the
yeah,
next
Yeah,
round.
Russia's not part of the thing anymore.
Yeah,
Poland just goes through to the Poland just
Poland.
gets a point in that match. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sweden
So
versus Czech Republic. So I think Sweden have a bigger chance because they have Ibrahimovic and they have like good young
Also,
players.
again,
Has
I need to
Ibrahimovic
I need
come
to
back
know
from
what
national
you
team?
guys. Sorry,
Has
Definitely,
Ibrahimovic come back from national team?
who?
wasn't he injured?
Ibrahimovic.
He's there, bro. He's there. He's there in the team.
is there? Is there?
He
He's in
just
the
had a press
squad.
conference, bro. Yeah. He was called back. He was called back for the
Yeah.
international team. He wasn't there before, but
Actually,
he was called back.
I want to take. I want to see you guys. What you guys have a take on this? You know that CSK Moscow was removed from the Euros because of this whole conflict with Russia, and I'm not going to comment on whether that was the right thing to do or wrong. I mean, that's their prerogative. But my point is, instead of giving a team a straight qualification, why not qualify the next best team and have them play instead of CSK Moscow? Like if
That,
CSK Moscow finished second in the group, then get the third team up.
that'll be too
It
much
doesn't
work,
make
bro.
sense to me. Yeah,
That'll
it
be too
doesn't
much
make sense
work.
to me why one team just gets to go to the quarterfinals for no reason. Like, how does it matter? Like the same with Poland. Like, if Russia is out, then get the next best team in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
I'm
could have
I'm
done
sure
that.
they'll be ready to play. But I don't understand this 3 point concept. It really makes zero sense to me.
No, they didn't expect this to happen, and
I think
when it
it's to
happened, they
do
were
with.
never.
No, I personally think it's to do with matches played. I think that's one of the main reasons. I could be wrong. Maybe they don't want more games to be played like this. And for example, like it's not just one squad, but I'm talking about Ukraine and Russia.
Hmm.
Then I'm pretty sure there are going to be other national teams who are going to be like, this is unacceptable because, in a way, you're giving them you're giving the team that are coming up some sort of hope
Hmm.
when the other third place teams will just stay as they are. So it's not, it's something that they wouldn't really like. They wouldn't think it's fair in a way. That's one
But
thing.
then
And
again, think about the other teams who are there. Like for example, CSK and Moscow go straight from round of 32 to round of 16, right? So or quarterfinals. I don't remember. How is it fair to the other teams in that same round who actually have to play, win, and then go through?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's actually it's a good point. Like they could have promoted the next team, but maybe
Yeah.
they'll be ready next time. I hope there's no next time, but they'll be ready for certain situations to happen.
I mean,
Now
I
the
hope
next,
there's not a next time.
yeah, there's not a next time with the war, but I just hope that if they have any problem that they solve it by doing it properly instead of just
Yeah,
like
without giving out free wins. Like
Hopefully,
here you go, qualify.
yeah, bro said.
do you think Cristiano Ronaldo will play the 2026 World Cup?
No, man. I think this is the last World Cup, bro. He will retire from this because I don't think he'll be surviving on the big level till 26. I think he might go to MLS after United, or maybe he'll go 1 2 years at Sporting Lisbon and then to MLS because MLS will give him a red carpet, bro. He will bring
Yeah,
a star quality that no one can bring, even bigger than Beckham. Like that's the reality of life.
no,
Beckham when
Beckham's
he
trying to
went,
sign Messi, right?
yeah, but
Into Miami.
yeah, but Messi won't go. I think Messi will most likely to go to Barca again if
Yeah,
he's ever moving. But if you talk about Ronaldo going to MLS, the level of football will increase, man. Because a 40-year-old Ronaldo is better than the most of the players in that league. It's a fact. Yes,
yeah,
Americans are getting some good players like Pulisic, and
but
I think the Man City goalkeeper.
Weston McKennie,
Weston McKennie.
Weston McKennie.
Kral, do you
They
really
have
think that?
Yeah, you're talking about these sort of players with talent, but then this is Cristiano Ronaldo who's been playing at a high level in Europe for years and years and years. Arguably the best player in the world. No matter what the age, he's going to have a huge name even if he goes to the MLS. It's not just going to be a
See,
big thing for the league, it's going to be a big thing as a brand too, in a way.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
see,
at the
all
end of the
that
day,
thing is
MLS,
true. all of that is true. I completely agree with what every one of you is saying. But like the one question I have is like we've seen this happen before. When Lampard and Gerrard went over there, there was a huge fanfare around the
Ibrahimovic
MLS.
went.
Everyone is
Yeah.
Ibrahimovic went
Ibrahimovic.
there.
Rooney
Ibrahimovic
went.
was the biggest move, in my opinion, because he went when he was fairly younger than the
Yeah,
others.
yeah.
So that was a much bigger deal than the others because he had a career in front of him, and he still chose to go to the MLS. And then he was good enough to just come back and still play. He's still playing in Europe. So yeah, that's there. But when Kunal says like it raises the level of football, I still question that because a lot of players have gone there, a lot of big names have gone there, a lot of names have tried to raise the level of football. Their football, they are still developing talent at the same pace at which they were before. They still had the odd Pulisic kind of players who were coming in like every 15, 20 years. So I don't still see them as a whole squad. I don't see a whole assembly line of players coming out like they do in England or like they do in the other nations. So I don't know if it will raise the level of football, but it'll certainly make it a well followed league. It'll bring with him a lot of fans. It'll really boost their ratings for sure. That's 100% there. People will
I don't
actually
think
follow
it's
who's
gonna
winning.
be. I don't think it's gonna be like a major thing in the MLS because I mean, yes, it's Cristiano Ronaldo, but then you can't really write off the fact that who else went there? Lampard went there, Gerrard went there, Ibrahimovic went there, even
Rooney,
this guy
Rooney
went
went
there,
there.
Pirlo went there too. So in terms of Rooney went there as well
Mm,
for Dallas. So in terms of the league, I don't think it's gonna be so
Yeah.
big because honestly, even though
yeah,
these players have come in, there's nothing changed. Not
Easy
everybody's
talent.
watching the MLS. That's gonna be the same. I think, as Kunal just said, I mean Sid just said as well. Like the only thing that could change is the players that they bring out from the MLS. And we only have a few names who are in Europe right now. It's not every
yeah,
single player that makes it into the top tiers of football. They're still
yeah,
stuck at the MLS, and which is why I think it's not going to be the big hype that people would think it would. Even, I mean, David Beckham starting his own club. I mean, that's quite a big thing because it's David Beckham. But Inter Miami are not getting that much of recognition. Not everybody's watching it every single day or every single
yeah.
match. It's only the people from Miami, I guess, who
You
support
forgot
them.
one more name,
So
actually. Gonzalo Higuain went in there when he was like fairly young.
Boy, shit, man. What the fuck are you saying his name also?
Higuain went there when he was shit. What's the difference?
This guy, man, cannot fucking
He
missing
was
open
not
chances, man.
He was so shit
Higuain.
that Inter Miami even
Higuain
signed
went.
his brother.
Higuain didn't have contracts left in Europe. He didn't have offers.
He came on loan to Chelsea for a season. He was out of contract by then at Juventus. Went back. I think that same season as he came back, he just left as a free agent.
Yeah,
Like, I don't understand. I think he's one of the worst strikers. Like, we expected him to be a very good striker, but he just kept missing chances. On the
I
question,
wouldn't. I,
no,
I
he had his phase. He had his
he
phase.
had
He
his
was a very good striker
Napoli
for
He's
a
a very
very
good
long time.
striker.
But
yeah.
his problem
He has a
became a
very
very
Didn't
good
win, but
psychological problem. The 2014 World Cup was where his issues started because it became a very psychological thing. Because honestly, the 2014 World Cup wasn't on him. He wasn't the only one who had missed the chance. He actually put the ball in the back of the net for 10 seconds. He was the only Argentinian player in the last 20 years who knew how to score in a World Cup, what it felt to score in a World Cup final before it was flagged offside.
Was he their
So
starting striker in 2014? He was, right?
yeah, he was. And then look, he wasn't bad in any sense of the word. It's just because Argentina lost, all the Messi fans were so upset that they took it out on him,
correct.
and it really went. He really internalized that, so it really messed up his game ever since that, and he just went through a huge decline ever since.
Yeah.
And that same thing went with the entire Argentinian squad until they changed the whole squad, and then they won the Copa America. The whole squad was not doing well for Argentina. The only difference
Yeah.
was the others were at least playing for their club.
Correct. I think the whole squad was not playing well for as a team. So speaking of players, another person has made news. Paul Pogba again, as usual,
Mm,
saying certain stuff again for United. But honestly, like he said things that I was not upset by. I just upset that he's saying it again. Well, I don't know why he's saying it. But then the media of UK have completely twisted his words, things he hasn't even said.
It's what
You
they
know?
do.
Oh, so he didn't say stuff like he's he's the club is dead, the season is
No, no,
dead
no,
because
no,
they
no, no. He never said that. He just said that the
ah
season is dead because
He
we're
said
not
the
going to win any
season.
trophies. That's it.
You know why this is happening, Kunal? Like ever since Pogba has come in with that sort of money, I mean, he hasn't been at the stage where he has been, and we all know that. I'm not
mm,
trying to state something that we didn't know, but the spotlight has been on him every single second. Every journalist in England would want to just criticize the guy. They're looking for a chance to, which is
Correct.
why, because in their eyes, and I mean, you can't take off the fact of what happened between him and Mourinho. Remember that phase in
Oh
2017 or
my
something?
God.
That stupid, that useless, kiddish shit. Okay, I get why Mourinho would get mad because he's a coach, but again, I don't know, man. This is the English media. They take it out on a particular player. Yes, maybe Pogba at some point in time really didn't enjoy his time as much because he wasn't playing
yeah.
too many games because of the Mourinho thing. He wasn't on top of his game like we knew. But the English media take it in a way that he is coming out and criticizing the club, which I haven't seen Pogba actually do, if you think about it. No
No,
matter
but he
what he
just
thinks in his head.
he says it at times where he shouldn't say anything. He should be respectful to the club.
That's the problem. Yeah, and again,
That's the
See,
he's
issue for
playing
me.
for Manchester United. So
Exactly.
again,
But it's,
the spotlight
I
see
should be on.
another you
I
also have to
disagree with
consider
practically disrespecting the club. Actually, the thing
Yeah.
is, Paul Pogba has the right to say whatever he wants. He has the right to say like what he feels at the moment.
Sajpal, did you
He
feel the
said that
same
he was
way
a
when
sacrifice Pogba.
Lukaku? Did you feel the same way when Lukaku was slating us when Lukaku was making all those statements about how he
Even in a
misses
different
Inter Milan?
situation. But the thing is, a thing about Paul Pogba is that he's speaking the truth about the club at the moment because he the season is dead for United if you think about it because they can't
Yeah,
win any
we
trophies. They
bro,
can't
we all
win the
know
league
that,
this
man.
season.
But
Sarge,
it's just
Sarge,
No,
it's just about
look,
Sarge, no,
speaking in the
listen,
right
guys.
time.
Sarge, you're spot on. But again, in my perspective, and I think some of you may agree, he has no place to say this in the media or
yeah,
anywhere because he's a
as
player.
he's a
He's not
player,
a
he's
pundit.
supposed to be winning the
He's
trophies. He's
not
supposed to
Gary
be
Neville.
performing to
He's
win
not
them.
fucking
Roy Keane.
Jamie
Jamie
Carragher.
Carragher.
He's not a pundit. He's a player. He's still a player. He's still playing. And as a player, no matter what you think on your head, you shouldn't be saying these statements because it has an effect in the dressing room. It's going to have an
Yeah,
effect on the club. It's going to have effect on the manager. You're basically putting all of them down when you're going to be with them every single day.
yeah.
You're training with them. You're playing with them. So as a player, he needs to shut up. That's the only thing I would criticize Pogba for,
Correct.
and
See,
that's yeah.
I'll
Damned
draw
if he does it.
comparisons with something. No, see, I'll draw comparisons for you. Like the one thing I completely agree with Toby on is that the scrutiny on Pogba is relentless, and the
Correct.
English media is a bit sadistic in that manner because last year after winning the Champions League, so Kai Havertz was quiet throughout the season. Kai Havertz was being criticized, I think, 3 games. Sorry, 3 games into the season. And then even after he scored a hat trick in the FA Cup, it was being discounted as it's just against the championship team, and no matter what he was doing, it wasn't good enough. And then after he won the Champions League, that's when he came out and said, like sometimes the pressure was a bit too much, and you feel like basically he didn't say it. He said it in so many words, but basically what he said was he was feeling a bit depressed and under pressure, and that he didn't know what to do. Now imagine that's a 21-year-old kid, and that's how harsh they are with him. Jack Grealish makes a move to Man City. He's basically done shit this season. Not a single word is being said.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling bought his mother a house, and he had a whole one-page article slating him about how irresponsible he is with his money.
Harry
So
Maguire,
there
bro.
is Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire went to prison. He went to prison, and there was a huge media movement trying to paint him in a different way that he was a hero of some sort.
No, I'm not talking about
And
Harry Maguire then. I'm talking about Harry Maguire now. There was an article in the United website which I made a video on. They're
mhm.
defending Maguire as they're
See,
talking about him about
see,
as a person, that he's such a good person. We should back him. Bro, I do not give a shit. You're supposed to
I
play.
dude, Rashford feeds children. I don't get it if he feeds children. If you're not playing for your club, you're not playing for your club. You're a great person off the pitch, sure, but you
No, but you
deserve
know what?
criticism
The
for what you
problem
do
is
on the
with
pitch.
what Sid is saying, the English bias thing. We cannot criticize the English players. They defend the English players. That's why we get pissed off.
Yeah,
Harry
like
Maguire.
Pogba. I completely understand Pogba's frustration coming out because he is right about saying that at times he feels depressed because there is so much scrutiny on the guy. The guy
Yeah,
paints his hair, colors his hair differently, and then there's a huge article about it. He's injured. He goes to Dubai with his family. He's injured. He's not going to play anyway. He's probably going through his physiotherapy anyway.
It's not like he walked to Dubai.
Yeah, it's not like he walked to Dubai and he's getting they're taking pictures of him in Dubai Mall and saying that the oh he's walking in the mall. No, do you guys even know that there are cabs inside the Dubai Mall? There's a cab inside a mall. He doesn't have to walk. The guy has a personal life. He has a family. Stop badgering him everywhere he goes. So yeah, but I do also completely find it wrong that in this moment he decides to speak up after you win. That's
yeah.
when your word carries weight. Like when Havertz said that I felt depressed, that carried weight because that's like a 21-year-old kid saying like, yeah, you know what, ease off of me. I'm trying my best here. But when you
And
say it right after you've been kicked out of all the tournaments, I'm sorry, it's
Historically,
he's
this
he's not
doesn't
even he's
make
not even playing well. Like you
this
have to
doesn't make
also
it this doesn't make it better for the player. Like
exactly.
yeah,
this does not help in any way, and it's quite obvious. Havertz is a phenomenal example. Guys, what kid? He's 21, bro. He's just coming to a new league. Premier League is not a good place to. I mean, it's not an easy place to come in and then shine for that sort of age. Not for many players like that. But now that he's slowly proving himself. But again, the spotlight would be on him, and the media would find every. As I've said it so many times, they're going to fire a bow and arrow to target him every single second. It's because they're going to use a scapegoat statement of him being 80 million or whatever because
yeah.
of the price that we spent on him.
But
You
they
It's
know,
the
don't care
same.
about Maguire.
Yeah,
do you guys follow Adam
I'm
McKay,
saying anything.
the
90 million
Man United
defender.
blogger?
McCullough.
McCullough.
Adam McCullough.
Adam McCullough, sorry. He made, and I love the guy for the fact that he called out Gary Neville for his hypocrisy because Gary Neville has been very vocal about criticizing Paul Pogba for when Paul Pogba has never said he'll move out. It's been his agent,
Yeah,
and he
that's
called him
another thing
out.
though.
Yeah, and he's called Gary Neville out on it, and he's like, "You interviewed Harry Kane, where he, while on contract with Spurs, not only said that he wants to leave, but actually gave himself a price tag, which in turn hurt Tottenham Hotspur's negotiation ability, which also in turn ended up hurting Harry Kane himself. So you defended him for that." And then he goes like, "Oh, he's a model player. He's a poster child of professionalism and this and that." What exactly has Pogba done that is unprofessional except for his hairstyle? He's a footballer. He's not a executive. He's not supposed to have a hairstyle.
You
See, I
can
get the
clearly
fact. I
see
get the
the
fact you
He's bald at
criticize
the
a
moment.
player
He
like
doesn't
Paul
have a
Pogba.
hairstyle. Now,
He's bald.
He's bald
yeah.
now. I think he got fed up.
yeah.
Even that got traction. Even though,
Yeah,
oh,
like he's
why is he
bored. I'm like,
bald?
what, bro? What is going on with this? They're not focusing on the football. They're focusing too much on the player. And obviously, like as a United fan, I had too much of expectation for Paul Pogba. All this stuff going on, I don't want him to sign a contract. I would rather be happy to him just going. Even if we get Eric Ten Hag, I would be happy if Pogba goes because there's
Mm.
the agent who is such an asshole. He's the real guy, man. I just hate that guy,
Mino
Raiola
man.
is Raiola is pure poison. It's when we were getting Haaland, this was like I was I was excited for Haaland, but then I'm like, you know what? We do have to deal with Raiola, and he is poison, man. The guy
Yeah,
doesn't care about any club. All he wants is the best for his client, which is
but
great for us,
of
his
course,
clients.
and he
But
wants money in his pocket, bro. That's all he's looking for.
only
yeah,
guys
Like
like
and
Ibrahimovic can control him. Like Ibrahimovic has that aura. Like he won't do shit in front of Real won't do shit in front of Ibrahimovic. But with a guy like Pogba, when he's playing and your agent coming out and saying certain stuff, why won't the fans get pissed off? Just don't
see,
speak.
this is another thing what I don't understand. Agents have no right to talk to media about these
yeah,
things and criticizing players. Bro, you're the fucking agent. You're the one who's helping him with his contract. You're the one who's helping him in terms of his career in a way. But you have no right. The only people you can talk to are the board of clubs. That's about it.
yeah.
You don't come out to media and talk. And this is what I don't understand. Of course,
But you know
he
why
has
he
a
does it?
huge stature. Let's be honest, guys. Raiola has a huge stature because of the players that are under him. All
Yeah,
right. But that doesn't mean he's got the audacity and the strength and all this, big shot sort of ego to come out and say that
I think Toby is stuck.
uh,
Wait, he'll come back. He'll come back. Ah, Toby, my friend. I think
no.
you're stuck, bro.
but I'll just expand on what Toby was actually saying. Is like, you know why Raiola does what he does actually. Like, as fans of clubs, we get frustrated because we're like, why is he talking about the clubs? But as an agent, he's a genius. What he does is when he sees his player is not doing well and the focus is negative for him, the first thing he does is he switches the focus on the club,
Yeah.
maintains their market value. He doesn't let their market value slip. And if their market value doesn't slip, his 10% is secure.
But you know how? But that's disgraceful, man. That is very bad.
Of course.
Kind of like an example for the future generation that what, oh, anything we can say whatever we want, and we won't get treated jack shit anyway, by the
Yeah.
club, because the player will be like, what, that's the agent, that's not me. I don't agree with the agent. But that's the reason I don't want Pogba to stay, because I know he's a phenomenal player and stuff, but the fact of the matter is that I don't want to deal with this bullshit of our Raiola guy. I cannot stand
Actually,
him.
Kunal, could I share my screen for a quick second? I
I
just
don't
want to
think
show
you
you guys the
can.
list of. Yeah, there is an option for sharing.
You can, and then
No,
do
I
it.
can't. I can't. Yeah, there is
Can
share
we-
screen.
Okay, do it.
Just
There's
one
an option
second.
to share.
Just 1 second. Yeah, this one. Can you guys see my screen?
No. Yeah, I can.
No,
Okay, I can see it now.
You can,
Yeah.
right? Just look at the list
now
of his clients. Just look at these
Haaland,
guys:
Delight, Donnarumma,
Haaland,
Pogba.
Delight, Donnarumma, Pogba, Verratti, De Vrij. Look at the like after that. Okay, fine. There's like not Noli is there. Justin Clivert. I think he would be bigger than he ended up being. Henrik Mkhitaryan, but all these guys. Look at them. Look at the amount of market value for Erling Haaland, 150 million. Matthias Delight, 70 million. Donnarumma, 65 million. This guy's just swimming in money with just the clients he has.
Ryan Gravenberch. Well,
Yeah, but I think in the future, like the clubs also have to be careful with what kind of what kind of agents they're dealing with. I think it's
Yeah.
very important. I think when suppose now I'm going to talk about the next Man United manager, I want to talk to you guys about that. Who do you think should come in? As a neutral. Obviously you don't want strong managers to come in as a supporter, but as
Sam
a
Allardyce.
yeah, Sam
Big
Allardyce.
Sam to the rescue, baby.
So okay, who
Yeah.
the
Eric
who
Ten
do you
Hag.
think that who do you think the next Manchester United should come? Because Eric Ten Hag is leading the roost now in terms of there's new reports that he's been interviewed and there's been good conversation with the club. So straight according to you, if United want to get back to track, they need to get Eric Ten Hag.
It doesn't matter who you get. Your board needs to align with whoever they get and build the team according to that guy. You guys
Yeah,
are following one certain pattern for ages. You started that pattern with Louis Van Gaal, and then Jose Mourinho came in, and then Ole came in. And you guys go heavy with the investment in the manager's first season. You guys have a improvement in your standings that season. The next season you pepper the cracks. You have a slightly better season, and you're like, oh, you know what? We're back. We won't invest anymore. Third season, nothing. Then the manager starts declining because you only peppered the cracks in the previous window. You didn't fix it, and now the cracks are chasms. And all of a sudden, you guys are going lower and lower and lower. Now what do? We sack the manager. We bring in a new one. Same story. It doesn't matter if you get Eric Ten Hag. It doesn't matter who you get. What matters is whoever comes, respect their vision, get them players that fit their playing style, and let's also remember that not all managers are good at picking targets. You need to have scouts. You need to have members calling the shots in the on the board level who know football, right? Otherwise, you'll end up with managers who are very good, but they might make bad calls. Like Pep Guardiola made a bad call with Claudio Bravo. He signed Claudio Bravo, huge flop.
Yeah,
I think he was signed for what, 50 million. Next season, he spends another 50 or 60 million on Ederson. But like
45.
with Pep, 45. But Pep Guardiola can do that. He has the kind of money. You guys can't. Any other manager signs a flop like that, he has to stick with that guy. So again, like yeah, Derek Ten Hag is a great signing if you guys can swing it, but then support him. That's it.
correct.
Without that,
Sajfa, what do you think?
um, I have a slightly different opinion. I think Eric Ten Hag will be a great choice here. But I have two other managers and this two other managers which United should try to bring. And the second one, which I'm going to say the controversial opinion, is a little slightly controversial or slightly left field. Yeah,
Okay.
Eric Ten Hag is a great option. He'll develop youth. He will. That's one of the best things about Eric Ten Hag. He will sign players with the philosophy, and he will, play have a proper system in place. And that's what Man United are banking on at the moment.
Yeah. Correct.
But I've always maintained that United should go for Zidane because of his winning experience in the Champions League and his management of the squad, like his man management skills. They're on point. They're really, really good. And he's
And
suited to a big club.
who's the other
They
one
don't
that
have
you are?
men to manage.
The other one,
Sorry.
Let's hear it, bro.
just swallow their pride and admit that they got it wrong when they sacked Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, I have to agree. You think Jose Mourinho should be considered?
No,
Back again, yeah.
absolutely not.
No, but
That
like I agree with Sachwal in terms of like when they sacked Jose, I was sad because the guy was really building something in terms of like when he was wanting players, he didn't get backed by the board. What was Sid was saying that they need a centre back, they didn't get him a centre back, and next season what they do, they sign an 80 million Harry Maguire. So like a guy like Jose, like at that time he still had the capability of winning trophies. He did,
He
he knew how
still
to
has
build
the
a squad.
capability of winning trophies. I'll tell you something. He can still win the Conference
see,
League
see
and the
again,
Europa.
you're misstating the
And
fact that there's no way that the Glazers or United for that matter are gonna go back to Mourinho.
No,
These
no,
guys,
I'm not
you
saying that.
guys,
I'm not saying they will go back. I'm just saying that when they sacked him, when they sacked Jose and they got Ole in, they sacked Jose because there was a clear power struggle between Jose and Pogba and the entire bullshit that was happening at the time. When Jose got sacked, they were like, we're going to protect the interest of the players. That's when the club went down because they didn't give the manager
that's
that
what I'm
respect.
saying.
yeah,
Even if
See,
it's Pogba, even if fucking Ronaldo acting too smart,
exactly.
you have to respect the manager,
See,
a guy who has won
Yeah.
everything. And for me, in his prime is better than Guardiola's prime. Like I would say, I would take prime Jose. That's
I
me.
completely agree on the point where the manager deserves control because this is the same problem we went through for several years. Because after
Yeah.
we sacked Jose, these players realize they have too much power. So that's what Conte came in, wins the league. Next season, Conte loses a dressing room. First of all, he makes a big mistake with Diego Costa, who was a dressing room favorite. And then all of a sudden, Victor Moses' form drops. So he doesn't have that kind of wing play that he had in the previous season. Marcos Alonso's form drops. Now he needs to bank on the other players, but he's already lost those players because those players are pissed at him for, getting rid of Diego Costa.
Correct.
Uh, he goes away. Maurizio Sarri comes in. Similar
Yeah.
situation. Once the players are not happy with him, Willian is posting shit like posting a story on Instagram and hiding Sarri with cups and all that stuff.
That's very bad, man. How are they allowed also in the
Yeah,
first place?
yeah, that's rubbish. You can't have a system where a manager does not have control of his team. It's irresponsible as hell, and it gives players way too much power because now they're not afraid of not performing. Like if
Well,
we don't
that's
perform, we just blame the manager.
the
See
player
again,
power.
that's
The
the
player.
same.
I'll just make one more point before I go to Toby. The player power was there until Ole got sacked, and after Ole got sacked, the complete
Yeah.
transformation of the image of the fans have completely changed. We all know that the players are at fault. Go ahead, Toby. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, no worries. No, what I was saying is back to the Ten Hag point. At the end of the day, you need a manager of the stature, and Ten Hag's going to get you that. But stating to what Sid said a few minutes ago, it doesn't take just the manager's power. You need the whole staff to back you. You need a good technical
Yeah.
coach. You need somebody who knows fucking football, not just business. That is not going to get any success for any sort of club. You look at clubs like City, Liverpool, Chelsea in a way, because there are guys who are part of the club who know about the game, which is what has given us a lot of boost in these past few seasons in the way because we've got Pericek as a technical advisor now, and he knows the game thick and thin, and he's
Yeah.
been a mentor for our players in the dressing room. Tuchel
Yeah,
has come out
yeah,
and said it in a press conference very recently that, Petacek has really been an influence for these guys, which is why you see the
Yeah.
performance you're seeing right now. Because
Yeah.
he's been there, he's done it, he knows the club thick and thin. I'm not saying get Gary Neville to come in, but what I'm saying is you need somebody who knows the game. That is
Yeah.
the only way. I'm telling you, Ten Hag will of course get these players up, and this could be another Conte situation at Chelsea from what we saw. And Sid, Sarge, and I will agree. Because again,
yeah.
aspiring to what Conte did in his first season when he came in, he got all the players he needed, right?
Mm.
We've won the league that season. We had quite a decent record. Diego Costa
And
has
then
been
and Conte also won the FA Cup in the second season and got sacked.
Yeah.
Correct.
exactly my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Exactly my point. At that time, yet that he lost the dressing room, we still at least won a trophy. Yes, we didn't do well in the league, but there are reasons behind that. Because in a way, our owners, our board lost faith in Conte in a way because his attitude wasn't right, and we have every expectations and understanding as to why because he wanted the players, and that's the type of manager Conte is. He wants the sort of players that he thinks is best for the team, and he didn't really
Mm.
get that season, and that's how we lost the whole dressing room. Costa was a massive mistake. Till day, I still scratch my head about it. We haven't had
Even that, yeah, he
consistent
wanted
strikers since Costa, and that's a
No,
big
Conte
sin.
but
wanted to stop Sanchez at
but to
Chelsea.
be very very honest, even if Conte would have won that season, I feel he would have gone because he
Yeah.
picked too many fights with the board. Too many fights with the
Absolutely.
board.
Absolutely,
Because
and they didn't stand that.
yeah,
See, you
because
think the stature of
it works in
any
City
club,
A.
Sid, if Arsenal were to win, okay, I'm not comparing us to Arsenal, but I'm just saying in terms of directors, in terms of the heads of clubs.
Hmm.
Sorry, if you think about it, it wasn't a great season, but the caliber of players we had that season to finish third, Liverpool
Yeah.
and City were the two dominant forces, and we couldn't deny that because I knew we're not going to get close to that by the players we had. But we did pretty well. We finished third. Forget about the point difference, but
And won the
yet,
Europa League as well.
and still we won the Europa League.
And won the
When
Yeah.
Arsenal went in that game as favorites, and we played at our shining best that game, I'm saying in terms of how Arsenal played and how we played.
But you
And I
had
think
Hazard, bro.
arguably
That's a
in terms
prime
of
Hazard.
goal contributions, that was Hazard's best, and it was
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
last season. Yet, Sarri got out. And again, it's
Yeah.
the huge controversy
No,
with
but Surrey quit because he got that Juventus offer. He wasn't let go. Surrey
No,
was the
I think
only
there's
manager who didn't get sacked.
No, he
but
got the
Chelsea would.
Juventus offer after he got
no,
sacked
no,
by
no,
Chelsea.
no. He
No,
got
no, no. He
sacked.
quit. He quit. No, no. He resigned. I remember.
I know he resigned.
Because I
Let me just
remember
check.
Are
him
you
getting
sure?
sacked. Yeah, he got
Are you
sacked
sure?
because
No,
that's
no,
when
no.
the Juve offer came in. It was around the
He
same
didn't
time.
get sacked. Chelsea announced that he left. He's leaving to become the
Yeah,
manager of
yeah.
Juventus.
He got the offer a few months before the season ended. He pondered over it, and then he resigned. And part of the reason why I feel he resigned is because he saw the dressing room wasn't his. And Surrey
Correct.
is not the kind of guy who will air the dirty laundry. Surrey is the reverse Conte. He won't go into the press and say, "Oh, these players are like this," or "This job is too hard." He has way too much respect for the game. He's a thorough professional. He said, "Okay, I can't. They don't
Sarri
want
was
me.
a great
I will not."
manager for Chelsea. That's one opinion I have still
See,
Yeah,
about Chelsea. That
no doubt.
see
Sarri was a
again,
great manager.
sorry, in a way, from what I've seen, and you guys said, and I mean, all you guys can agree, like as Chelsea fans, um, after the Conte situation and how upset we were of the fact that, you know, I think he was done unfairly in a way because I
Yeah,
think Conte is one of my favorite managers who I've seen in Chelsea.
yeah,
Getting in Sarri was like a big question mark because we didn't really know who he was in terms. I've seen his records when he was
mm,
at, I think it was Napoli when he
Napoli.
came from. Napoli,
yeah,
that's where he came from. But if you think about it, Jorginho was his signing. Jorginho did quite well. He held our midfield quite decently.
mm,
Got in Kovacic on loan. We know what happened after that. We didn't have a bad season in a way. It was
no, we
just
didn't.
the fact that Liverpool and City were just too dominant. And
Correct.
the thing I loved about Sarri, especially, I mean, we did have some inconsistent games. And I don't know if you guys remember, I think our first 7 games in the Premier League, we were unbeaten. And then I
Yeah,
think we lost. So it was quite a
Yeah, yeah,
decent
yeah.
record. And if you look at how we played, it wasn't bad, man. We played some decent football.
yeah,
Defensively, there were
Exactly.
some issues. Yes, defensively, there were some issues. But apart from that, I wouldn't have been complaining too much if we kept Sorry for another season.
Yeah, and honestly
Yeah.
speaking, I'm as a fan, like, yes, I love winning trophies. Yeah, I love it when Chelsea win, and I get to brag about
Absolutely.
it. But even let's say we have when Lampard came in, I said I would be okay with two trophyless seasons as long as we have consistency in
Correct.
manager. If Surrey may not, let's say he didn't have the season that everyone expected him to have, the follow-up season, the second season, fine. I don't mind. He's doing a great job. He's building the team. He's improving the squad. As long as I'm seeing improvement season after season, I don't mind how it's going.
Yeah,
I know we
absolutely.
will eventually win because if that system is there, eventually these guys will win. So yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with Conte's management. I don't think there's anything wrong with Surrey's management. I just think Conte picked too many fights, and that kind of stuff works in Serie A because they love it there. The press loves it, the fans love it, the boards tolerate it. It's it's a different culture, so they
Correct.
like it. They like all that. They like managers being honest. Gattuso goes into a press conference and says, "Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit," and people just eat it up, and they're like, "Yeah, what a good manager, what an honest manager." That stuff would not fly here, in the English Premier League. So
That's what I'm saying. They
yeah,
like managers with a lot of animation,
Class.
and Mourinho has that. That's the reason why he's getting a lot of media attention in Roma. And Roma are not doing bad. Roma are doing well. Tammy Abraham is having like the season of his life right now. You
Very
know?
they're
good
seventh,
season.
bro. They're seventh.
Yes.
No, that's
No,
six.
they're six now. What I'm saying is
Oh,
amongst the teams that are above them, they're doing quite well for where Roma is. Like last season, they had a rubbish season.
doozy. Yeah, last season
So,
was.
I mean, I didn't expect Roma to be competing for the title. I mean, Inter are still better, Milan are still better.
Mm.
Um, but
No,
what I'm trying
obviously,
to,
Jose is not gonna. Jose is not gonna come in and overnight turn them into some huge
well, he
success.
doesn't
He's
need
not a
it.
miracle worker, right? He needs,
I
and
mean, he
also
did
Roma is
do
not the
that
kind of
with
team who
us.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
He
had
did. He
Timo
did
Werner
that
in
with us
bounce.
because he had the financial backing, and of
Yeah,
course, the players he got were under his favor, and Abramovich agreed to it. And then he turned us into a phenomenal team in 2004.
but
So
let's just. Can you go back to the players he signed at
let's.
that time? Like, look at
We're going
Robin.
off
Nobody
topic
knew Robin at that time.
actually.
Drogba. Nobody knew Drogba at the time. Peter Cech. Nobody knew Peter Cech at the time. In fact, the English media were criticizing him for
I mean,
dropping 30
Crespo.
million pounds on Drogba.
You know, there was a story about
Now,
Mourinho coming out on BN Sports
new
where
person,
he
yeah.
was talking about Abramovich when the time he spoke about Drogba. So Abramovich
Yeah.
approached Mourinho over call and said, Jose, I can get you, I can afford you Ronaldinho, I can afford you these sort of big names at world football at that time, like these big ass names. And then
Yeah,
Jose was like, Mr. Abramovich, no, I just need this young guy who plays in Marseille. His
yeah.
name is Drogba. And then Abramovich is like, who is this Drogba? Who is this guy? And what are you talking about? And then Mourinho's like, Mr. Abramovich, just please pay the money and then I'll show you. And look how that turned out to be. It was a fairy
Uh,
tale. So
Drogba had a follow-up story for that. They asked Drogba about what he said, and he said that before Mourinho was managing some smaller club, and he played this guy Drogba, and he said, "Listen, I don't have my club doesn't have the money to sign you, but I will. Do you have a younger brother I could sign?" And Drogba puts his arm around his shoulder, and he says, "One day you'll be a manager who can afford me, and that day I'll come and play for you."
and look, that turned out to be history. So again, let me just I'm sorry, let me just go back to like your point, Kunal. Like this is what I'm saying. You guys need a manager. See, Ten Hag is not going to be as staturous or uh, as vocal as the managers like Conte or Mourinho. Like Mourinho is a huge example of you guys because he's got a big ego. He's Jose Mourinho. He's like won everything, almost every club he's been in. Ten Hag is not that sort of manager. Ten Hag is somewhat like a manager who's calm and he just shows it
Mm,
on the pitch.
mm,
But what I'm trying to say is it doesn't just take the manager, guys. It does not. It needs to take the whole team. A football club can't be run by just a manager. There's a
Yeah.
technical advisor, there's a tactical coach, and as Sid said, there's a scouting. The scouting has to be excellent. You guys need to keep that. I think that's one of the main problems that United have in terms of technicality. You guys need to find a coach or a manager who knows what he's doing. I'm
And,
not
and
talking
a
about
team to, and a team that he
you
brings
guys.
himself. He doesn't employ the past people. He doesn't
Yes.
want to bring his own team.
See, and the investments count. United's investments, if you look about it in this season, hasn't been bad. You guys tried
Yeah.
to get players that needed fixing in specific areas, maybe apart from the midfield with Fred and McTominay, because I don't think they're good enough for a club like United.
Yeah.
But it has to be logical. It has to be something that you really need, like a player that would like suit you for this sort of role.
Mm.
But
I
the
think,
problem is, in terms
yeah,
of United's current role right now, I don't know what sort of, no offense, but I don't know what player would be attracted at this moment to play for United
Mm.
under what's
because
going
You
it,
on.
know what,
yeah.
Toby? United need a player like Jordan Henderson, but a
Yeah.
similar player to Jordan Henderson
A younger
in terms
Jordan
of
Henderson.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
yeah,
I
In
agree.
terms of leadership as well, if you think
in
about
terms
it.
of
Yeah,
leadership,
but
in terms
Toby, coming back to your point where you said that Scott McTominay is not good enough to lead the team to a title. The question
Yeah.
is, look at how much money they've spent on the midfield. Like they signed the first investment they made was Paul Pogba, right?
Pogba,
They signed him for 95 million pounds.
95 million, yeah.
And then ever since then, they have spent nearly 250 million pounds trying to find him a partnership. They signed Nemanja Matic. They
Matic,
signed who else am I missing?
they
Fred,
signed
Bruno Fernandes.
Fernandez.
Um,
Fred.
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 Fred came in
50
2018.
million.
Yeah. 50
Yeah.
million.
Well, Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek was there.
Yeah,
34 million, was
Uh,
it?
34 million. Yeah, 34.
yeah. 34 million. And then who else? Who am I? I think there's one more name I'm missing.
No, didn't sign anyone else. McTominay is
That's
a
Yeah, that's
graduate.
right.
that they have in
McTominay
But
is a
this.
that's
graduate.
bad. But that's a bad thing because they only signed 3 players since 5 years trying to take the midfield
and
forward. You can't
See,
do
this
that.
is what this is the
and
thing.
in those
50
5
million
years, in those
for
5
a player
years,
like
one more thing
Fred.
is that Ander Herrera was the best midfielder next to Pogba.
Herrera is a huge loss, I
Oh,
must
yeah,
say
exactly.
that.
The big play he was.
Herrera was a huge loss. He didn't get
Why
the
did you
right
guys let him go? I don't remember that. I
Because
couldn't
what
Yes,
happened
understand.
was
good money, no?
the club didn't offer him a contract they didn't give him that importance, and that's why he left. He went like, you know
Oh,
what, yeah, because
This is the problem.
yeah,
Kunal, your problems are right there.
Edward Wood again, he's not giving them
This is the
importance,
problem.
like
You need
he
to
should
get
have.
rid of this man. You need to get rid of their owners because they
He's
don't know
gone.
what they're doing.
Woodward
They
is
don't know
gone, but
football.
the owners are still there. The
No,
owners,
yeah, exactly. Woodward's gone. But
yeah, but
this is the thing.
the owners are F1 track seeing the Bahrain Grand Prix instead of being at United and solving the problem. You can see that. And see, like this is the last thing I'm going to say before I end the show. Whether you want to be like Chelsea, Liverpool, or City, that doesn't matter. We have to now become a one club. If you get Ten Hag, I'll be happy. But if you get Pochettino, I'll be pissed off because I don't like Poch. Right now, he's not the cutout guy. Because whoever comes to United is coming under big pressure.
See,
I will wait for 3 years. I'm willing to wait for 3 years if the board follow what Ten Hag does. I will
that
wait.
is the right approach. Yeah. That
absolutely.
is the right approach because nobody's going to come and overnight turn you guys into a success. And even if he does, it's going to be a very short lived success. About the point where you said that you don't have to be Chelsea, Liverpool, or City, that's exactly the point. You need to find your own identity. Like Liverpool found their own identity. They're like, okay, we'll invest. We can't invest as much as Chelsea do, what City do. So we're gonna invest right. We're gonna buy the Diego Jotas. We're gonna buy
Luis
Navi.
Diaz. Look at Luis Diaz,
Yeah,
bro. What a player.
Lucas Diaz, yeah.
Luis Diaz.
That's what
Yeah.
they're doing. They're investing smartly, and
See,
that's working out for them so far.
that's
It may
that's
not be a
that's
long solution. Maybe this will last them maybe another 2 seasons or 3 seasons, but at the end of the day, it is working for them. It
The
is.
this is
backing the
why I
You
manager,
need
said
to
bro.
find
this
your
is
own
why I
soul.
said you guys need a director who knows football. Because
Yeah,
I don't think, see, I don't think the Glazers, I mean, they spend a lot of money for you guys, but they just listen to whoever. They don't know any fucking players, bro. Like, they're Americans. They don't care.
have
You
they
give
ever
them a
met
name,
the
they
players?
buy. They
Have
buy.
they
You
ever
just,
even come for the match and visited the dressing room?
they've
Not
come
not
once. I
not
remember once in
yeah.
2018. I think Avram Glazer came once, one of the brothers. Um, but that's not the point. What I'm saying is, you guys need a technical advisor who knows the game, who knows the right sort of players to get. Because as a manager, I think this is how it is. I don't know how it is in United. I don't think he's got the presence, or he's got the intellectual in a way to really, go up there and speak to the board. I don't think the board would ever listen to him like that, because again, he's a coach, he's an employee, and for his standard, it's just to coach the team, and then whatever he wants to report goes to the technical advisor. Technical advisor takes it to the owner, and then from then on it goes. So, yeah, again, you need to find your own identity. I think United need that right now. I personally think it's very different if you look at Chelsea, City, and Liverpool, because these clubs have followed a huge different path. The only comparisons you can have with City and Chelsea is that they've got the money in a way to spend that sort of money. But the main thing that these three clubs have in common is that they invest wisely.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
It doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't spend it well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You need to know the players you need.
I mean, Bridge has spent as much as City, and it's still not. I mean, that is absolutely shocking. The amount of money
That
you have
is.
spent, and then
You see
look
what I
at
mean?
the City, and this is the kind of team you have.
No, because see, man, if you look at the team now, like if you look at the team, it's not a team; it's superstars. You look at Maguire. See, I will agree with what they've done
Like
this season.
PSG, I'm
Varane
telling
and
you, we're going to
Varane,
At this
they got
point, Kunal, I won't even call them superstars, except for Ronaldo and Pogba. Who are the superstars?
like no one is because the way they're performing, because they think they're superstars.
Kunal, you see
Because of-
what
Yeah,
this does to
there.
your players, Kunal? You see what this does to your players, especially these players who've bought in from a lot of money. I'm talking about Fred, okay, who hasn't come from a major club. Shakhtar Donetsk might be a big club in Ukraine, but it's not a big club in Europe worldwide. These sort of players, what this does for the dressing room when they experience this, their egos are gonna get high, because they're like, oh fuck, I'm playing in Man United, bro. You know what? Like, I'm just enjoying life. I have the ego. No, everybody's gonna respect me. That's all they're gonna think of. When it comes to the pitch, their minds are somewhere else.
But you know what?
Toby,
Fred
that's
has
exactly the
been a
point.
better. Fred has been one of the better players of United, which is
Fred has
shockingly.
improved. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
He's woken up. He's
No,
woken
Yeah,
up.
the way he's
but
playing
the
in midfield
whole
is much better.
issue-
But the whole, yeah.
But the whole issue right here is exactly that, because of the fact that you guys are not consistently winning, that you're not up there. If a player has an option of going to United or one of the other top four, the only way United can sign him is by giving him a bloated salary, and that bloated
Correct.
salary goes to his head. So the only other option is to take a step back and say, okay, we need to build ourselves back to where we once were, sign players who may not be glamorous, who will be very much honored to play. Let's say, oh my God, we're gonna go and play in the Europa League. Yeah, great. We wouldn't be able to do that in our club. Who will be excited by that prospect? Sign them, build yourself up, get back in the top four, and then once you look like you need one good season. You're Man United. You don't need
It's-
like a series of good seasons. You don't need to be like Tottenham Hotspur to have like 5 consistent seasons to attract talent. You need to have one good season, and you'll get players to come back in.
You know what?
But right
one
now,
thing
you're
I
not
was,
there.
yeah. No, we are not there. We are miles off it. And I'm hearing rumors that we go for Declan Rice for 150 million. I would rather get 2 players for
They won't.
100 million.
Who for 150?
Declan Rice.
West Ham slapped a 150 million price tag on him because they're smart.
English bias.
no,
English bias.
Toby, they're
Simple as
smart.
that.
Toby, think about it. His contract runs out in June 2024. He has 2 summer transfer windows, right? So if he doesn't go in this coming transfer window, if
He'll
they
go
don't
next year.
put an unrealistic target, then he'll go in this one. They don't want to lose him now. They want to lose him next year. When he has 1 year left on his contract, they will sell him off for like 70 or
2024, 2 years. Okay, get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So June 2024. So at the end of the
23,
season
I think
after
you-
next.
Yeah. In the summer of 23, you will expect
I-
Declan Rice.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So they're playing it very smart. They're like, listen, if you want to go for him, you pay 150 million, just like Aston Villa did with Jack Grealish. Like, if you want to go
Grealish.
for him, you pay 100 million. But
It's
if
literally what Dortmund did for Holland, if you think about it too.
yeah,
You want to keep
they're like, look,
Bro,
and then see.
if you
same
wait,
thing.
we
Yeah,
get him
same
for a
thing.
longer time, but then you get him at a reasonable price. If you
But
don't
same
wait,
thing happened.
we get
Yeah.
money.
Same thing happened with Sancho. Like last year, it was 120 million. This year, we got him for 72 million, which is much reasonable and much better. And he is turning out to be a very good player. And
Yeah.
and Sancho and Varane is the only good signing this summer. Ronaldo is a hit and miss, obviously because of his age, but the guy still keeps scoring. And
That's what I was saying, Kunal. These things have to happen ASAP because you cannot afford to have Sancho to lose his head and lose his form.
Yeah.
correct.
Because this has happened
Well,
with a
he's
few
gonna
footballers.
end up like Rashford if that happens.
If
Rashford is
that's
not a
and
bad
that's going to
player.
be a
He's
huge
fast
problem.
player.
And this is going to be an ongoing thing if things don't take action as soon as possible. So
But
Yeah.
can we come back to the point that Dortmund are, forgive my language, a dick of a club when it comes to selling players outside of Germany? If Bayern Munich comes to sign Sancho, they're not going to demand 105 million pounds. If
no, they're
Bayern
not.
Munich come to sign Haaland, they won't say 150 million pounds. They're going to say, "Oh, you're offering 30 million? We'll take it." The minute the other
Bro,
clubs come, "Oh, no, now we want money."
yeah, because see, bro, they're gonna get more
This
money
happened
from
with
United.
Lewandowski. This happened with Götze in a way. This happened with Hummels when Hummels went from.
Yeah.
And I remember that time when Hummels moved from Dortmund to Bayern. I think it was 20. Guardiola was manager, so I think it should have been 2015 when he went to Bayern.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Or was it
a season before that, I think. He
2014?
was a Bayern
2014.
player when they won the World Cup. He was a Bayern player when they won the World Cup, I think.
Yeah, so then 2014. 2013
Hmm.
then. It's got
Yeah.
to be 2013, 2013, 14
Let me just
season.
check.
I think there was
Can
an
someone check it?
offer from Barca, and then
Hmm.
these guys were demanding about nearly 100 million for Hummels.
Yeah.
No,
So you see,
he was at Bayern Munich in 2016.
yeah, they were
2016, that's
buying.
what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Then
Guardiola,
I'm wrong. Then I'm wrong.
2015, 16, Guardiola left at 2016 to go to City.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he was there with Guardiola for a season.
And then he went
Yeah,
back to Dortmund, and they paid 5 million more for him than
You see what I mean?
they had got from him from Bayern.
These German cunts, I'm telling you, bro.
Like I'm
yeah.
serious. Like I don't understand.
Doesn't
Like
make sense.
this club is willingly weakening itself, strengthening its own rivals, and then Bayern Munich. If any other English club had done this to any of their rivals, fans would have been up in arms. Bayern Munich literally approached
Other
Lewandowski
English clubs have been doing this
a
to
year
Arsenal.
ago. Huh?
Other English clubs
Sorry.
have been doing this to Arsenal in the past.
No, not this. No club has ever done what Bayern did with Lewandowski. They approached him 1 year before. One transfer window before, they're like, "You have 1 year left. We want to sign Götze this year. Dortmund will not let go of two players, so we'll sign Götze. You stay with Dortmund. If you finish the season and come to us on a free, we'll give you a 10 million pound signing bonus."
I'm telling you, man, Hans-Joachim Watzer, the CEO of Bayern, he is a tough nut to crack when it comes to transfers. This guy will break your balls and play games with your mind every single time there's a rumor of a player's been linked.
Yeah.
And the
I'm
amount of
telling
players
you.
that were linked with Marco Reus at his once when he was at his absolute peak, bro, this guy did
That
not
is
accept
Dortmund,
any
not
sort of
Bayern.
what's that?
Hans-Joachim Watzke is the CEO of Dortmund,
Dortmund.
not Bayern.
Dortmund, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about
Mm.
Dortmund. I'm talking about Dortmund itself.
Like
He's
the
he's the
minute
CEO.
someone comes to Dortmund for asking for a player, this guy just clamps down like anything. Like he's like, "No, I want this
You
much
know what
money. I
that's
won't budge."
that's what he did with Pulisic when we initially signed Pulisic. I think it was prior to the season Pulisic came in because then Pulisic for the next 6 months was on a loan at Dortmund because he already signed a pre-contract with Chelsea.
Yeah.
Um, we initially bid, I think Pulisic, it was 35. That's what we
Hmm.
bid for him at his age at that time. He was, I mean, he's still young, but he was younger. He was 21 at the time. And then
Hmm.
this guy he's like, fuck out. You know what? No, fuck you. You're Chelsea, right? Pay us 50. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
got him for 50 mil. I
And
personally don't think at the time
if
Pulisic was worth
Bayern
50
comes
mil.
in and says we want
Is
him
he
for
really
5 million,
50
they'll be
mil?
like, "Take him."
Yeah, take him.
So yeah, that being said, I have to end the show. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys again for joining me in. Thank you.
Fun as
Take
always.
please. Yeah, man. Thanks, bro. And we'll come back next week again, and let's see what happens. People watching this for the first
Hopefully
time,
with
please
more
like, share,
people.
yeah, we'll hope. We hope there's more people. And if anyone wants to join, please send me a message. I'll be great. Like I'll be allowing you to come to the channel because that's what we want. We want more and more people to come to the channel and express their opinion. So that being said, thank you guys so much. Take care and peace, man. See you guys.
Peace
Have a
out.
great weekend, guys.
Take care, boys.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend.